Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video I'll be doing an overview of Birds of Prey, the end of the beginning trade paperback. I'll be talking about a little bit of the story, the art, and of course if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the book. The spine, the back, and this is a trade paperback, so what you see is what you get. So let's take a look at what's inside. So what is this book about? So the book starts off with the Birds of Prey are after a girl named Tabitha. Tabitha is a teenage girl who ends up being the head of a mob, and she's able to obtain these illegal weapons. So now the Birds of Prey are after her, trying to get those weapons, and more importantly, figure out who's the supplier. As the story progresses, there's a big incident that happened in Metropolis, and the bomb detonates, and it takes out, it removes a big chunk of Metropolis, or a little section, I should say. And now the Birds of Prey are trying to figure out and work together to figure out who is the supplier, what other weapons do they have, more importantly, who's creating them. Because when the bomb detonates, they actually find out that it's actually not human made. As you can see right here, it's not human made at all. It's alien, or they don't even know what it is. But they're trying to figure out someone is creating these kind of weapons, and they got to figure out who it is. And that is the gist of the main story. I say main story because there's other subplots to it. For instance, there's one story where one of the girls gets abducted and they actually get forced into a cage fight. Other story is two of the Birds of Prey members are led on by a mysterious person and forced into being a trap. Another story is with Oracle or Barbara Gordon is actually sending out a Birds of Prey member behind the team's back, and investigate someone, which I can't say too much. So there's a little subplots here and there, but they all connect to the main story. And like I said, very simple premise, and I dig it. I like the story. I think this is a fun little story. Is this like a 10 out of 10 story? No. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not. It's a very, very simple premise. Bad guy has illegal weapons, good guy's trying to stop him, and know who's creating the weapons. Simple premise. I'm sure you heard it many, many times again, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's how you execute it. It's how you tell your version of that same exact story. And to me, this story itself, it's cool. I enjoyed it. And I think you can have a good time. Do you need to have prior knowledge to it? No. You can actually just get this book, start reading it. You'll be perfectly fine with it. You don't need to have prior knowledge. They do mention other stuff that happened in other stories in the past, but is it essential to read it? No, you'll be fine. I just literally bought it because it was on sale for 50% off. Started reading it. Perfectly fine. I understood the story and everything was going on. And what I like about the story is, more importantly, it really showcases the other Birds of Prey members. Because usually when you think of Birds of Prey, you think of Huntress, you think of Black Canary, of course, Batgirl. But this one, it gives a limelight to other characters, such as, such as Lady Blackhawk, Misfit, Black Alice, Manhunter, Infinity. So you get the limelight of other characters, and you see their interactions between themselves, but also their powers. And that's what I like about it, because going into it, I thought it was going to be a typical Birds of Prey characters, but it's actually not. It's more of the other characters, which I like, because again, you learn more about the other characters, their background, and their abilities, and more importantly, how they interact within the Birds of Prey team. Because there's one part of the story, which I won't say too much, where the Birds of Prey members are kind of dismantling each other, because I can't say too much, I'll spoil it, but they're not working together. And I like that. But more importantly, what I really, really like about the story, though, is Barbara Gordon, because a lot of the book does have, or showcase, the Barbara Gordon's mindset. And you really see her struggle, because usually in the comics, when you think of Barbara Gordon, or Batgirl, she's always composed, always a smart one, always, able to crack certain codes, like, all tech savvy and all that. And in this story, you really see her struggle, especially what happens in Metropolis, because what happened in Metropolis, I won't say too much, but something happened, like I said, the big bomb, and Superman basically confronts her and tells her, hey, you should have called the big guns, aka me. But more importantly, you fucked up in my turf. Obviously, he didn't say that, but you get the point. And that really affected her, and you see Barbara Gordon struggle. You see her, even her teammates are really calling her out, like, hey, you good? Because she's struggling. She's feeling that pressure of Superman telling her, hey, you messed up. You should have called me, but she didn't. And you see her struggle, and there's even times where she gets outsmarted. Even when in her element in terms of like computer and tech, she gets outsmarted, and you see her struggle in that. And there's even times where there's a certain character who wants to kind of help Barbara Gordon, Again, she just wants to help out, but she gets snappy at her. Barbara Gordon just becomes rude and just snaps at her for no apparent reason, and you see her struggling. And in a way, I like that. Not because she's struggling, but it shows she's really vulnerable. At the end of the day, she's actually human, and she's dealing with a lot of stuff. In terms of the main premise, the story itself, I dig it, man. I enjoy this story. Just don't go into it with high expectations. I went to it literally with no expectations. I enjoyed it, man. The pacing itself, it's about average to above average. There are some few moments here where the pacing does slow down, but that is inevitable because when they introduce certain characters, they kind of have to tell a backstory, so it's fine. But for the most part, I would say it's just a little bit above average. Majority of the book. In terms of the art, I would say it's good. It's clean. I think for this particular art, the matte quality of the paper is fine. I know I'm usually like picking on like the paper quality, like I prefer the glossy, and I really do. But I think for this particular story and art, I think it's fine because there's no really arts on here that really stood out to where I'm like, holy crap, this has to be in glossy. It's good. It's clean. I dig it. And like I said, the paper quality is matte. So overall, though, what do I think about it? I think it's a thumbs up for me. Cool, simple, easy to read story. It gives a limelight to other Birds of Prey characters, but more importantly, it really shows Barbara Gordon essentially vulnerable, but also getting her back together, getting herself back together, and seeing her kind of put all the pieces together. And certain characters appear as a cameo towards the end of a certain character, which I won't say. But when that character appears, you're like, oh, okay, okay, I want to see where this is going. Let's go. Let's see what's going on. But overall, though, I think this is a good, fun little read book. And to me, Birds of Prey, the end of, what is it called? Birds of Prey, the end of the beginning, to me, is a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read this book? Do you plan on reading this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to that support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. That concludes an overview of Birds of Prey, end of the beginning trade paperback, and on to the next one.